Welcome to Sinform, business simulation tutorial about business processes, namely marketing. As you know, there are many marketing definitions out there. What is marketing in Sinform business simulation? First of all, as a company manager, you will have your own business, and naturally, you will want to reach your customers. Question is, do they know about you? Hardly. In order for them to know about you, you need to communicate to them. Or in other words, you need a certain connection. Only afterwards, they will know who you are and what do you have, and maybe that is interesting to them. As a result, you will have a connection you need. In general, marketing is exactly that activity that makes a connection between the market and the company, or the consumer and the company. So how do we make that happen? Well, let's start with the basics. And first of all, let's analyze the global market that is available in Sinforma Business Simulation. We have over 33 countries and over 300 different cities. And actually, all these cities and countries have different populations. Now, as you move on to the chosen country and you want to review what cities does it have, you will end up in a city view where you can see the size of the city, the average city salary, unemployment rate, education level, and wealth level. One of the main things that are important for marketing is the size of the population of the city, as well as average city salary and wealth level, because these will show the buying power of this specific city. After macro data analysis, we can move on to more thorough analysis of the markets from the perspective of the product sales. Now, first of all, there are a couple of different perspectives. One is the city retail, then there's also service sector and the producer perspective. In retail reports, you can find data on the sales of all the products that are available in Sinforma Business Simulation for retail trade. So out of 200, we have around 150 products. You can see all the categories here, as well as all the necessary data. So you can choose to see the worldwide data or focus on every specific country, region, and city. You can see the overall size of the market as well as your competition and what are average city prices and quality. As we move on to the service sector, what we can see here are the same statistics for the service sectors that are available in Sinforma Business Simulation. And finally, as you move on to the products report from the position of a producer, either providing natural resources or you're looking forward to provide parts and subproducts for other manufacturers or provide final products for the retailers or service providers. Now, this is also the information where you're looking for to see what is the situation in the competitive market, what are the prices and quality available in the market to analyze them and evaluate the competition level. So this is the basic info of the consumer environment you might need to analyze the consumer behavior and also what kind of potential does it have. One of the oldest marketing concepts is the 4 Ps. Most probably everyone who studies marketing knows the 4P concept. Naturally, over the change of years and the change of business itself, the new concepts appear. So the 4 Cs are here, as well as SIVA, and the development of the already existent 4 Ps or 4 Cs to 7 Ps or 7 Ps also are out there. Now, we'll be looking through the prism of 4 Ps. What kind of basic elements of the marketing mix we have available in Sinforma Business Simulation. So let's start first of all with the product. A product as a retail good will be the one you will be selling to the final consumers. The differentiation between the goods of the same type is the quality. So this is an indicator which shows how developed technologically the good is, also what kind of raw materials were used to produce it. The higher is the quality, usually the higher is the price. The second is product, economical product, seen from the prism of a wholesaler. You become a supplier to the other retailers, producers, or service providers. And finally, the product as a service. If you're a service provider, once again, you will be dealing with final consumers, although quality of the service compared to the quality of the product is made out of more variables. So first of all, quality of the service is affected by the quality of equipment you are using. Now, depending on the type of service, consumables might be used or not. So if you're using consumables as you provide services, their quality will have direct effect on the overall service quality. In this tab, specifically in Analytics Reference and under Trade, you can find the list of all the products that can be sold in retail stores. In other words, these are the retail products. So as you can see, there are many categories and many goods. Now take into consideration that all these can be provided in one store at the same time, meaning the product mix can vary from store to store, and it's absolutely up to you what you want to sell and what price and what will be the final product mix available. If you want to make a very small specialized store, it's up to you. If you want to focus or you want to make a supermarket, it's also possible. This is a great example how big the trade hall can be with a variety of different goods available. It's a very big food store that also is trying to sell some other goods from the other categories. In this case, there's hardly any limitation. In the store, we can see a focus on the automotive goods, as well as combination with jewelry. Here we can see the apparel, as well as grocery and jewelry category mix. There are certain combinations where certain goods come together pretty well. What are they? Well, you will have to find out yourself, because in different markets, different goods go in different combinations. And priorities of the consumers, depending on their buying power, can change. To access the structure of the services that can be provided, you need to go to the list of the enterprises and find the business unit that provides a specific service. There you can review the specializations, what kind of raw materials or consumables will be needed, as well as a certain additional information. Even though there are different type of specializations and require different type of raw materials, they also receive certain different bonuses or minuses. The more developed the market is, depending on the amount of the service providers in a specific city, the more diverse and developed the market is. Even though the level of competition grows, the need for certain different specialization grows as well. Once again, a lot depends not only on the environment, but also on the activities of your competitors, and you as well. Don't forget that every product in Informa Business Simulation has its life cycle. The more activity there is from the participants of the simulation within a certain specific market, the more development of the product there can be. So it's up to you to find out in which specific stage a specific product is at the moment of your activity. And now let's move on to a second B. People. People, or in other words, employees, directly affect two main aspects. The retail, where the qualification of employees directly affect the level of satisfaction of the customers you receive. As in retail, visitors that come to your stores are not automatically your customers, and they require not only a good pricing, quality, and brand combination of the goods you're supplying in the store, they also require a level of service, a proper qualification of the salespeople. So in this case, directly affect the conversion from visitors to clients. In service sector, employee qualification and their ability to work with the equipment that is used to provide services is one of the factors that directly affects the quality of the service provided. As for production, well, you don't really have any employees whose qualification will affect the job, as the sales are managed by you directly and your warehouses are fully automated. The price. Now, as the price is a fully manageable value, there is a certain difference. For the retail, the price is the one that the final customer will pay. Now, as I mentioned before, don't forget that visitors are not automatically customers. So therefore, it is very important to find the proper quality and price combination for the proposition to be attractive to the consumer. If you want to find out what proposition is typically attractive for the consumer of a specific market within the city, use the data analysis. Take into consideration the buying power of the consumer, which can also be found in Analytics tab. As you put up a price in a wholesale, either selling it from your factory or a warehouse, take into consideration that the price you input will not include logistics and custom taxes. So that means that depending on the location, there will be additional costs included. And finally, the price and service sector is the one paid by the final consumers. As you make your pricing, you have to be fully aware what level of prices is there right now in the market. The place. The location of the business unit can be crucial. There are 5 districts in every town. The trendy neighborhood, the one most expensive one, is the location where you will find the majority of the trendy inhabitants of the city, meaning they will be looking for the highest quality of goods. As the rent price goes down, so will go down the concentration of people, as well as their ability to buy expensive goods. In general, the rule is simple. The closer you get to the city center, the more people you can encounter. The lower you go, the less people you will encounter. However, your chances to sell cheap goods in residential area, outskirts, or suburbs actually increases. Which location is the best for you? Well, it depends. You will need to find out. Specifically for the retail, depending on the location where you're putting up your store, you either can attract the right clients or the wrong ones. That means location can be either a minus and have a negative effect on your sales or a positive effect on your sales. A place in wholesale. But as mentioned in the price part, the price you put up for sales does not include logistics and customs. So when you're dealing in wholesales and you want to provide your clients, in these cases retailers, producers, or service providers, a good deal, maybe putting up a warehouse in a specific country can be a very good decision. And finally, same as in retail, in service sector, certain service providers can change their district in order to find a better segment of the clients. Be careful because certain service business units cannot change size or place after they have been built. In all 3 cases, the size of the business unit you're using to provide your services or to sell goods is also important. In retail, the size of the store will directly affect the amount of visitors it can fit in, not only the goods but also the visitors. As well as in service sector, the size will give opportunity to service a larger amount of clients at the same time. And now let's move on to the promotion part. Promotion means advertising. In order to manage the advertising in some form of business simulation, you will have a choice of 5 media channels. You can mix them up any way you want. Every channel will have its minimal amount or minimal budget, and as you increase the media mix, the minimum budget will grow as well. You will also be given the city population number and also the number of contacts your media mix or advertising will be able to reach. The efficiency of advertising will be calculated during next turn. If the advertised business unit will not be able to cope with the increase in the flow of visitors and clients, then the efficiency of advertising will drop down. From the production perspective, you have opportunity to advertise the good you produce in a specific region, To be more precise, you need to have in the country or in a specific region of the country an office. And then you can choose to advertise either in all the region or certain cities. You will have 5 media channels, and depending on the media combination, you will see the minimal amount you have to spend and also the contact number and how much of the population you're covering. So let's review the advertising from the different perspectives within the business simulation. In order to sell or increase sales, you need to advertise. In case of retail store, the advertising will attract more visitors. And naturally, it will also grow the popularity of the store in long term. So the short-term effect is the increase in the flow of visitors, and the long term it is the increased popularity of the store. But be careful. As you invest into advertising, if you're unable to serve all the clients that are brought to you by the advertising, that means you're using your advertising budget inefficiently. That means you're losing money here. As a producer, you have opportunity to invest into the product you are producing. If you advertise your product in a specific region, city, or country, you will be developing the brand value of the product. This can be done only if you are the owner of the good you're producing. Brand value is very important for the retailers because products with a brand value or branded products have increased chance of sales. So in other words, they are more attractive to the final customers. And finally, the promotion in the service sector. In this case, what you will do with the advertising, you will attract direct customers. Now, differently from the visitors, there is no need of transition. In this case, all the visitors that will visit your business unit will be automatically clients. So in this case, with the advertising, you're directly attracting customers, as well as growing the popularity of the respective business unit that provides services. Same as in retail, be careful with the efficiency. If you don't have the potential to serve all the clients, the efficiency of advertising will be going down because you will be wasting money. Now, as we have finished with the covering all the main P's we have available in Synforma Business Simulation, we can move on to the environmental forces within Synforma Business Simulation. Now, all the P's you have seen are the ones that can be managed by you. So these variables are manageable ones. The environmental forces, however, are not. The social part, even though you have a certain effect on the environment, there's still a certain difference because countries are different, priorities are different, and essential indicators will not change that drastically. So in this case, you will have to adapt. Economic. Now, as mentioned before, this is a multi-user solution directly designed to create virtual economy. Naturally, as it involves decisions of real people and real participants, the dynamic is very natural and unpredictable. Therefore, certain changes, downfalls, shortages on certain production will naturally be something you will be facing. Of course, you can build a self-sufficient business and provide only to yourself, and it's also one of the solutions. But if you don't have the time or resources to do that, you will have to find a way to solve that problem. The competitive environmental force is that as there are other real people, you will be directly competing with them, and their actions will be affecting the environment, and there's something you cannot change. You can make an assumption on the actions they will be taking. And that's the good part because you will be studying the human behavior. But once again, there's something that you cannot control. Technology. As you can develop certain levels of technology of the products, so can others. So in this case, the overall level of technology that will be developed in the process of the gameplay of the course or business game is also one of the forces or one of the facts that can be controlled. So either you will have the upper hand or someone will be developing technologies faster than you, which in this case will give them upper hand of having the highest quality of the product available on the market. And finally, there's also politics. In this specific case, as you have probably noticed, there are certain bonuses and minuses on certain goods or areas of activities. Now, naturally, there are regulatory limitations and bonuses, and these differ. In this specific case, these cannot be affected, as in real environment, as in real world, there are politicians, there are politics, there are many aspects you cannot change or affect. Naturally, here, certain things will be a threat to your business or a very big boost. As you can see, in Informal Business Simulation, the business processes are connected. And I believe you have already noticed that. First of all, the retail trade management. The info you will be gathering for your marketing strategy will be of very big use in the other processes of company or business management. So retail trade is one of those, as same as wholesale trade management as well. Now, production management, considering you're trying to either to provide a certain good to you or you're dealing as a wholesaler, also is very important to plan in order to plan your actions. And market knowledge is crucial here. Mining and agriculture management as well, because you will be providing certain goods to yourself or to others. HR management will directly affect the quality of services provided. This is also part of the strategy, can be part of the strategy, and as well as research and development, where you will be developing technologies. Quality management. As you manage its certain production, managing and receiving the highest quality available is not an easy task. And finally, as you probably noticed, there's a possibility to segment the market. There's a possibility for targeting as well as positioning. The variety of strategies you can use are pretty vast. In this case, there's a very big link between strategic management and marketing. These are the processes that are interconnected. Naturally, there are more business processes that can be found within the business simulation, but take into consideration that these are highly directly affected. If you want to know more about the other business processes, I recommend reviewing other tutorials as well.